Friends, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of SPTV News Live. Today's broadcast is entertaining, frightening, and mostly a warning on what to expect on protest. I'm sure those that have been following quote unquote SPTV know that there's been an explosion of channels within the last year or so, not least Aaron Smith Levin exploding his channel and encouraging and helping other people in the community to start their channel. So with that comes more protests. We're going to go over some of these specifically in Los Angeles, and I would assume more upcoming protests as more and more people want to speak out and quote unquote challenge the cult. This is a participatory stream, by the way, my friends, as usual. I don't have all the answers. I've been on a few protests, but if you guys have been on some, and as we go over the material, the video clips, and etc. today, and you have anything you'd like to contribute, as usual, please throw it in the comments. Put some question marks if you have a comment or question that you want me to throw up on the screen so I can see it easily. And if you're not catching the live stream, perhaps you could leave a comment afterwards if you have any information to share with all of us, just so we can know to better understand this subject, because it's something near and dear to my heart. I've been on several protests, and they were quite emotional, and they can be not necessarily a fun time to hang out with friends and meet fellow SPs and never ends, but it can, you just need to know what you're getting into, because Scientology often takes notes. They can follow you with private investigators, and you can be on their list and perhaps receive some harassment simply innocently going and checking out a protest. So we'll start off with some questions here that came in beforehand, and then we'll get into the meat of the broadcast. And basically what I'm going to show you is three very recent protests in Los Angeles, starting with the most aggressive from a Scientology auditor, a less aggressive one with Lara FM. She just did a protest at the infamous Big Blue here in Los Angeles. And ironically, I would say the proper protest, if there was such a term, by the indie Scientologist that just happened a few weeks ago. And then we can tie that into what might be happening in the upcoming big protest that Apostate Alex is putting on in the UK at St. Hill. And then there's another one coming up at Celebrity Center here in Los Angeles on the 21st of this month. And as mentioned before, I'm sure there'll be many more. So it'd be good to pool our resources and have some tips on what we can expect so we don't go into these protests with our dicks in our hands. So let's start off with this, and this will leap into sort of the sequence that I have this laid out in. So BCC, again, not to be confused with BBC, asked Chow Yun Smut, a regular in the chat, and she'll also appertain and help kick us off the beginning of this video as I show you a clip. So this is at Chow and me, and the question is, in the entire history of Scientology, has there been psychotic breaks during auditing sessions? Most fucking definitely. Or are they recent with the changes made by Miss Cabbage? Chow responds back with, I'm going to let Doug answer that one definitively, but I do believe that there is a history of such things, not just on Miss Cabbage's changes. Okay, this is just my opinion, my friend. I would say that this is the broad strokes. Because Scientology was created by a psychopath that was trying to heal his own ailments using self-hypnosis and Crowley's material. So much of Scientology, from the very beginning of Dianetics to the auditing and everything, is based on Crowley. And we've covered that massively in the broadcast, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the broad strokes is he thought using Crowley's self-hypnosis and drug work, he could go into his subconscious, retrieve, all of his memories from his past lives, and in a nutshell, that would heal L. Ron Hubbard's ailments. I'm sure he recognized he was also scamming people and kept getting more and more desperate, hence creating more and more levels to try to fix his own illness. So it's totally based on Hubbard trying to convince himself and everybody around him that he's sane, using Crowley's works at the basic, and then getting more and more paranoid, delusional, and psychotic as this was not working. So I would say the totality of Scientology from Dianetics on is designed to give you psychotic breaks. That's what it's about. And again, nutshelling it, like we talked about on the channel, everything that Scientology does is covert hypnotism called something else. From the very first time you sit down to do the training routines, which is part of something called the communication course, you stare at another person for hours on end. And we've broken all that down. That is going into a trance state. Then you listen to L. Ron Hubbard's gibberish in his tape lectures and his books, etc., while you're often in this trance state. So it's going into the subconscious. It's not doing anything for your mental health. And more, you take on the identity and psychosis of L. Ron Hubbard. That happens in the auditing sessions, which is also brings you into a light state of hypnosis. You go into past memories, etc. None of that I found when all is said and done. Not only didn't work for me, but it took a long time to undo what was literally a hypnotic spell. So that's the broad strokes. The actual auditing drove me insane and many other people's, i.e., a psychotic break, many times. I talked about the biggest break that I had was when I was on OT3, which was the infamous Xenu level. I came outside of AOLA, which you're going to see a clip from of the indie Scientologists where they protested at. That building where they delivered the advanced choruses on a street called L. Ron Hubbard Way. I had a psychotic break. I've had many, but this was the biggest one. And I felt like voices were in my head. I was crying outside and I was going crazy. I was screaming and shit. So they had to whisk me back into the building, or they tried. This is going to require a fucking cigarette, man. They tried to do everything they can to handle me. And I'll explain in a second what they do specifically to handle this, because this happens all the time with people. They couldn't even get me back in the building to give me another auditing session and fix it. So they finally had to call my dad. When my dad was called, I went back home. He came and knocked on my door endlessly. And there was other cult members there too, Sea Org members, to try to get me back into session to handle the psychotic break that I had. It's a long story, but it took me forever to answer the door. I was very resistant when my dad and the Sea Org members came into my house. And eventually, like he always managed to do, because it's happened many times, my dad was my handler. I looked up to him and I finally went back. Now, what they normally do when you have a lesser psychotic break is they red tag you. That means that because you're using covert hypnosis on somebody and it's not doing jack shit except implanting false memories into your mind, people go crazy all the time. But L. Ron Hubbard had an out for that. And that was when the person, just real briefly, every session goes to a floating needle. That's their indication that the process is over and the person will leave on a high. I would say that floating needle actually detects when the person has dissociated. That gives you a floating and a high feeling. And when you go out of session, sometimes you can lose your mind or get a little bit too out of reality. So you have, I believe, it's either 24 hours or 48 hours to get the person back into the session, because they can create a lot of havoc and they can go psychotic, and they have many times. I give you Lisa McPherson as but one example. So they have a whole system knowing that you're going to crack through the auditing to bring you back in within 24 hours. They put a red tag on your folder and they bring you back up to the high. The normal process for handling that psychosis is to bring you back to the point where you were doing well. They call it rehab or rehabilitation tech. They try to spot a moment to give you that high again when things went shitty, and then you can carry on your day and report back to Scientology. That's a long answer to your question, but that's how I would explain it. One other question before we jump into this. LS, what's going down, man? Looking forward to this. Awesome. And meant to say in comments, check out Landmark Education in New York City. Most definitely a cult knockoff of Landmark per your series. And then LS corrected himself real quick. He meant to say Momentum Education knockoff. I haven't seen that, my friend, so I will definitely be looking into that. Quick background on Landmark, just to show you how everything connects to everything else. And Scientology has been used by, I would say it's the most used blueprint for other cult leaders to use, whether it's Keith Raniere, Charles Manson, or Werner Erhard. So Werner Erhard, it's Erhard. That's not even his real name. And to me, that sounds like kind of a hypnotic NLP word of Earnhardt. Anyways, his name was like Rosenberg or something. So Werner Erhard was an ex-Scientologist. He formed the infamous EST, and then that became landmark. So every time someone goes to their 3-day to enlightenment seminar, which is where they, spend some money and they go through processes that are very similar to what you were just talking about, BCC, about the psychosis. They get on stage, they offload in a very cathartic way in front of a whole audience. They're denied being able to go piss. They're kept in a sensory kind of deprivation environment where they can't move around too much. That was based on Scientology, and that's what LS is talking about. Okay, so to get into stand by, please. So let's get into the protest stuff. So like I said, I have a series of things to show you just so we know kind of what to look out for. And we're going to start with an interview that me and Chow did the other day, where she makes a good point that will allow us to jump off into all of this stuff.
Going after, and they got the money, and they're going after people personally. So they're going after
very personally.
Wow.
Oh, they send PIs after people to stalk people who leave, people who dare to speak out, people who will show up to protests and don't take care to cover their identity effectively.
So
they'll send PIs after them too.
I'm so glad you said that, Chow. I'm doing a video tomorrow to warn people about what to expect at the protest coming up, the big one coming up in the UK, because that needs to be known about.
Event.
Yeah, that needs to be known about. I'm so glad you talked about that. Okay, so what the hell are we talking about? So we're going to jump off with a video from Apostate Alex, who, like I said, is doing this big protest in the UK from November 3rd to November 5th. This is a video that he put up, but since unlisted, and I think you'll see why. And I also think it's important to go over it, not just as a jumping off point, but to warn people. A little bit of backstory on this first, actually. So he co-opted the name Anonymous in this video. I don't believe that they're actually going to be at the protest. I think that's part of why he took the video down. But Anonymous in January 2008 began worldwide protests. That just happened to be the month that I woke up in a single day. So I didn't see these guys. I didn't find out about them until like 6 months later. But they did worldwide protests that, not dissimilar to the effect that Leah Remini's show had on people. It created a shitload. Whenever you think of them, good or bad, and I'll say some things about that probably. They did provide a bunch of awareness, and it was a turning point, just like I would say Leah's show, Scientology in the Aftermath. It just created a bunch of awareness. So that's what this video is about. Alex co-opted Anonymous here. And then, like I said, we'll use this as a jumping off point to talk more about Anonymous and then go into modern day protests.
Hello, leaders of Scientology. We are Anonymous. Over the years, we have been watching you. Your campaigns of misinformation, your suppression of dissent, your litigious nature, all of these things have caught our eye, with the leakage of your latest propaganda video into mainstream.
Scientology. You were warned. And yet you continue with your antics. Your IAS event in November will be faced with fierce opposition. We are Anonymous. We are SPTV. We are Legion.
Now, that would have terrorized the absolute shit out of me if I was in the cult, thank God I got out the same month that they were. But they initially started out, Mark Bunker had to kind of get on their case because they did start out with threatening stuff, not dissimilar to that. That's not Anonymous thing. That's not Anonymous's thing, but that's a flavor of kind of what they look like when they came out in January 2008. And they terrorized the Scientologists themselves. But like I said, since Mark Bunker got on their ass and they did things properly and they learned how to do it peacefully, I think they did make a massive, massive dent in being able to speak out more and more about Scientology. The reason I bring this up is because I want to show you some of the comments here. This isn't a hit on Alex. I think he's done a shitload of work. I think he knows what he's doing. I just wanted to throw in a few warnings because he kind of didn't address what was in here, which is, and a couple thousand people saw it. So I just wanted to warn people. I don't know if Alex has been on any protests, but people that are going out there to this one at the East Grinstead need to know what the fuck they're getting into. So, and this person mentions in the comments, we got one coming up in LA here too on October 21st at Celebrity Center from 1 to 4 p.m. So everybody's basically jazzing on this shit. And then there's a couple sensible comments in here where you're not Anonymous, but you are Legion. let's see. It's awesome that Animal Lovers Anonymous is going to protest the cult of Scientology at Keebler Elf's Day. Again, I don't think that Anonymous is going to actually be there. So people got a little bit confused. And also there was another sensible comment in here, which really, got me wanting to talk about this week. Kelly says, SP isn't anonymous, though. I see what you're trying to do, but this seems inappropriate. I myself am associated with SPTV, but not with Anonymous. Some ex-Scientologists I've spoken to have mentioned how they felt threatened by them because some members of Anonymous resorted to non-peaceful protests. Alex gives just some backstory on why he co-opted it. And she says, okay, be careful. And here's the point. I hope you consider everyone's safety at the protest. Scientology know you are coming. They've had 4 weeks now to be on point, to totally prepare to put in moles, which they will most definitely do. There's facial recognition cameras outside of St. Hills, so everybody's going to be photographed. And, these are things to be aware of. So Scientology knows you're coming. They have time to plan their response. And you're going to see some examples of what Kelly says here, too, in some of these videos. But I know this to be true because this is what happened to me when I went on Scientology protests. My dad literally used to have to antagonize protesters as a Scientologist, as ordered by the Office of Special Affairs, that's their intelligence branch, to try to get them arrested. Stay safe, make sure everyone knows what they're getting into. And Alex says, thank you, Kelly. Safety is hugely important. And there's a disclaimer that explains this when registering to take part. Those who register will receive updates. And of course, the police have to be notified ahead of time of the protest. And then cool video, Alex. Wow, is Anonymous associated with SPTV now? Fine, as long as they behave themselves at their protest. Again, I think he took the video down because he fucked up. We're not associated with Anonymous. Like I said before, this is why I try to stay on the outskirts of the group because we are all individuals. I think we work together as a unit. But, to say that we're associated with Anonymous is bullshit. And he doesn't get to decide what the community is. Sorry if I have a little bit of bypass charge, but it just seems really fucking irresponsible to do something like that, at least make a correction about it, so I don't have to fucking sit here and do that. So what the hell is Anonymous? Just with a little bit of backstory. Their history real quick before we get into the actual videos and the protests where you'll see some examples of what can happen in just very recent protests here in LA. So they're known as Project Chanology. It was a protest movement against the Church of Scientology by members of Anonymous, which is a leaderless, internet-based group. Chanology is a combination of 4chan and Scientology. The project was started in response to the Church of Scientology's attempts to remove material from a highly publicized interview with Tom Cruise from the internet in 2008. Here's another important point. You'll notice that they all have masks. The reason they wear masks is so they don't get identified. And as Chow was saying at that clip from the interview, they have had private investigators follow them. They get their names and stuff, even when these guys were wearing masks. So the very least that's going to happen is the people that protest, especially a bigger one, I would suggest are going to be facial recognition scanned. They're going to have their names. There will probably be moles within the protest march posing as protesters. And they're going to do as much data collection. And at least Anonymous was smart enough to try to hide their frickin' identity so that didn't happen. And it still happened anyways. The project was publicly launched in the form of a video posted to YouTube, Message to Scientology. That's not dissimilar to what that Alex video was about. It was basically along those lines. It sounded quite threatening. And you're going to be challenged on January 21st, 2008, right when I woke up out of the cult. The video states that Anonymous views Scientology's actions as internet censorship, correct, and asserts the group's intents to expel the church from the internet. This was followed by distributed denial of service attacks, blah, 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 okay? So they were basically kind of like coming across as cyber terrorists at the beginning, but as mentioned before, Mark Bunker kind of got on their ass and said, look, you got to do this peacefully, and they proceeded to do so. Detractors of Scientology have also criticized the actions of Project Chanology, asserting that they merely provide the Church of Scientology with the opportunity to play the religious persecution card. Other critics, such as Mark Bunker and Tori Chrisman, who I met at one of these protests that we talked about last time, initially questioned the legality of Project Chanology's methods, but have since spoken out in support of the project as it shifted towards nonviolent protest and legal methods. Now, to get into the very first protest that you're going to see here, this is from a guy. Like I said, we'll start out with the most extreme ones. I'm not a professional, man. You guys pipe in and say what you want. I've been on several protests, but this is how I would not handle it. But, maybe more power to him because he has his own style, more in the angry gay Pope type style, versus a nasty Nathaniel, where one's more aggressive and one is a little more chill. But this guy captured some amazing footage. It's a brand new channel called Scientology Audit. That just came out last month. I will link his channel and everything else we talk about here in the description box after the video publishes. But the first protest you're going to see happens here. Let me blow this up a little bit so you guys can see it. So this is a Scientology place in Los Angeles. Here you can see the Church of Scientology. Here's Hollywood and Highland. They're on Hollywood Boulevard. And here's a few pictures of what you're about to see, just so you can get some mass on the building. So there it is. There's the old creepy building. Tourists often come to Hollywood and they sit out here with very attractive people. You're going to see a guy named Angel who's been their security guard. Again, no homo. I'm a 100% heterosexual male, but he's clearly an attractive man. So they put attractive people out at the reception. And Angel, who you're going to see in a minute, as unsuspecting tourists and other people are led into this trap with these beautiful people and this fancy yet creepy building. And then the rest is history if they take the personality test, etc. So here's the aforementioned auditor confronting Angel. And also you're going to see, let me pull this back here a little bit. You're going to see, throw you guys in the chat, some of the tech that Scientology uses and you can expect at these protests is what you're going to see Angel doing. He's accusing the protester of like touching a Scientology woman or something, and he's going to go to prison and all this made up bullshit. They also use repeater tech, which is they whisper in your ear something over and over and over. Again, if Scientology sees you at a protest, there's a likelihood that they'll know all about your background after they search you. And then the next protest that you come to, they're going to have information about you that they're also going to try to whip you into a frenzy. And as Kelly mentioned earlier, her own freaking dad, and I know this to be true, was a, Scientologist who was sent down there to physically get himself assaulted, up to and including being stabbed. There's no limits, so that you can then arrest the protester. It's all about antagonizing people. So if you have a bunch of never-ends gathering at this huge march, according to Alex, this is going to be probably the biggest one since Project Chanology or Anonymous did their protests. So if you got never ends that don't have their TRs in and don't know how to deal with these Scientologists, they can be likely to get antagonized. And, they want it to come to blows. They want the shit to be fucking, they're willing to take a hit to get your ass in jail. So here is the video. Let me make sure I'm on the right tab. Okay, check this shit out. This one's semi-spooky, and the next one that this guy does is just creepy.
About these Scientologists, let's talk about how you guys get the information of your victims, right? Because you guys are full of sexual assaults. Let's talk about Tommy Masterson, right? You want to talk about her? You want to talk about her? Excuse me? Shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
And you almost ran into her.
Shut your mouth. That's illegal. It's not illegal. Call the cops. Call the cops again. Call the cops. I didn't touch her, dumbass. I have it on video. You know what I'm saying is, I'll do it again. That's all I'm saying. And I'm going to do it again. That would be illegal. And I'm going to do it again. It's not illegal. Now shut your mouth, Scientologist. Yes, it would. Shut your mouth. It would absolutely be illegal. Call the cops again. It would absolutely be illegal. You don't even know anything. And here I am. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to shut this down tonight. Now you guys aren't doing nothing. We're going to sit here all night. No more recruiting for the Scientologists tonight. It's over. Exactly. Shut up. That's your own crime. It's not mine. Crime. This is your crime. You guys commit crimes. Danny Masters, how many people did he rape? Let's talk about L. Ron Hubbard. How many people did L. Ron Hubbard rape? How many people did L. Ron Hubbard rape? Close the door. It's over for tonight. Pack it up. There will not be any more recruiting. Run your mouth, and this is what's going to happen. Learn the law. You're not a security guard. You're a Scientologist weirdo. All your actions? Yeah, all your actions are being recorded. Your actions are being recorded. Shut your mouth. It's over for you tonight. There's no more recruiting. No more Scientologists recruiting tonight. It's over. Everybody's inside.
The law again. All of them are going to be documented.
Why
You're going to end up breaking the law.
Are you looking to your left or your right?
You're going to end up breaking the law.
Why do all you Scientologists
That's
have
what
these
you're
dead
going to
eyes?
do.
You broke the law.
Don't
You
break
just
the
broke the
law.
law. Stop breaking the law.
Don't break the
He
law.
broke the law again. You broke the law again.
You're going to end up
Your
getting
left
arrested.
eye,
That's what.
There's the repeater tech. You can notice the dead eyes. These guys, as mentioned earlier, they're literally in a trance. They're thinking like a computer program to get under the skin of the protester, telling them they're going to be arrested and threatening them. When even though this guy is obviously aggressive, I don't think he's done anything wrong, but this is what they try to do to get inside your head. And it can be intimidating. I'll tell you from personal experience, you think you can handle it. But when you look into those eyeballs and you see nobody home and the aggressiveness, it can cause your emotions to get fired up. And that's exactly what he's trying to do here.
You're
It's going to end up happening.
Then what happened?
Because you're going to keep breaking the law. That's what you do.
Nobody broke the law.
You trespass. That's
call the cops.
That's against the law.
Did you call the cops?
It's being documented.
Well, you're being
You're gonna
documented.
file a
I'm
report,
documenting too.
and we're going to file a report.
File a report. File a report. The Scientologists are done for tonight. You guys sit there, harass people. Here we are. Pack it up and go back on your bus. Go over to Fountain and Western into your little compound. Yeah, let's go to Fountain and Western. I'm gonna start showing up on Fountain and Western. Yeah. What you're gonna end up happening is you have no idea. You're not a cop. You're a security guard. And I'm documenting everything myself. And you know what I do? I post online. You know what people say? They laugh at you. The whole world laughs at you. The whole world laughs at you.
Don't break the law, sir.
Don't break the law.
Don't break the law.
Don't break the law.
You're going to end up getting arrested. That's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen. You're going to get arrested. Don't break the law. You hear me? Don't break the law. Don't break the law. It's over for tonight. Pack it up. Yeah, you little runt. I'll see you tomorrow. Pack it up. It's not happening anymore. We're going to talk about all your Scientologist crimes.
Wow. What do you guys think, man? Pretty intense, huh? Do you think that's effective or not? I guess it would depend on what the guy's intentions were. I can actually relate to that because the many protests I went to, even years after being out of the cult, I thought I could handle it, but I had people doing shit very similar to that, and I did kind of get in their face. I think that my personal opinion is it's almost useless protesting, because all you're going to do is push the people back into the bubble world. When you have your placard saying end the abuses, they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They are abused and they're totally oblivious of it. And all it does is confirm to them, like if Anonymous came out, if I didn't wake up in January 2008 and a few more months ran by and I was at the AOLA where there was like 100 of them, I would have been terrified, and it would have confirmed, holy shit, they really do need, the world really is crazy. It would just reaffirm that I have the tech to handle their reactive minds, because all I'm seeing are reactive minds in these protesters. I'm not seeing the abuses. I'm not seeing that I'm in a cult or anything. So if this guy's, my personal opinion is, if this guy's intention, for example, was to wake people up, that obviously did nothing. But again, maybe he has his own agenda. He did make an intense video there. And they do, in some fashion, I think, need to be confronted on their abuses, but I don't personally think that's the right way to go about it. Here's example number 2, which is even more intense, and talk about capturing the creepiness and the robot. It's like a herd walking robotically in sync to their programming. This is a creepy ass video, which really gets you inside the head of the Scientologist. And you're also going to notice an infamous character named Franck. Franck is the security guard, which is totally willing to throw down. I couldn't find the video where he's getting in a fight with some dude, because I said they try to incite you to physical violence. So they're actually throwing down in the street. I couldn't find that video on YouTube. I think it was probably scrubbed. But Franck is a security guard where you can see in this video he's aged a lot. I'll show you another one where he does the same tactics, like 15 years ago. But he's been there forever, like a lot of these people that are posted specifically to get a rise out of people. And you're going to see, after you watch the drones walking down, the infamous Franck pop out of nowhere and do his usual tech. And also, somebody said earlier that made a really good point. I'm not going to be able to find it. Okay, basically somebody made a point. Sorry, I couldn't find it, my friend, but that they're very calm when fighting. Yeah, exactly. So while the never ends and people that aren't experienced like this, even myself included, like I said, I had been an ex-Scientologist for 8 years maybe when I went to my first protest, and I could barely handle it. So the reason they're so calm is from the aforementioned training routines. That's covered on an episode called Theta Trap that I put up a couple weeks ago, which shows you what they're doing. They're bull baiting the person. They're locked into their hypnotic trance, and they have no fucking emotions, generally speaking. So they can handle it. They can intimidate you. But if you haven't been made into a secondary sociopath, which is what Scientology does to these people, then they can be intimidating and they can get under your skin, no matter how proofed up you think you might be, in my opinion.
Look at all.
This is an Ivar, by the way, close to one of their other buildings in Scientology, and this guy just happened to capture him when they're going to pose. So check this out.
All the Sea Org weirdos. Look at these weird people. You guys are in a cult. Don't look away. You guys are in such a cult. Where's Danny Masterson at this morning? Huh? Huh? This is what you guys signed up for with your billion-year contract? You guys signed a billion-year contract. What type of dumb shit is that? Do you ever look at L. Ron Hubbard? See how they cross the street? Just to go around me. Look at you. They just got off the bus. Look at them. Tell me this isn't a cult. Where's Danny Matt and where's Shelly? Has anyone seen Shelly? Not a single person has seen Shelly. Not a single person has seen Shelly. Again? Mind your business. Huh? Mind your business.
What is your problem again?
There he is. That's the infamous Franck. I think it's pronounced Franck, not Frank. I could have that wrong.
What is this? You know what my problem is? Scientologists, and where's Shelly at? Where's Shelly?
What was that?
Where's Shelly at?
What was that?
Where's Shelly?
I don't know what you're talking about. I truly
Look at the Sea Org weirdos. Look at the side. Get out of my way. Don't you get in my face. Don't you get in my face. You touch me, I have a right to defend myself, and I sure as fuck will. Look at all the Sea Org weirdos. Look at them.
All right.
Look at them. Look at all these cult members. What are your families? Every one of your families are embarrassed of you. Don't push him into me. I can walk down the street. You don't own this fucking street.
Good idea. You cannot like a block the sidewalk too,
Don't
right?
touch me again.
All
Don't
right.
touch me again.
All right.
Don't touch me again.
What, are you gonna push me or something?
Face.
Are you
Get
gonna
out my
push me?
face. I'm a fucking. Let's look inside here. Don't touch me again. That's another time I told you don't touch me. Let's look inside of here.
Are you gonna do that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? I want to see it.
Shut your mouth.
I want to see it.
Shut your mouth.
I really want to
Shut
see
your
it.
mouth. Don't get in my face again.
I really want to
No
see
one's
it.
scared of you Scientologists.
Oh,
Not
is that
one.
right?
Nobody.
Is that right?
Nobody.
Is that
Nobody.
right?
You want
Is that right?
Where's Danny Masterson at? He's in jail. Why?
Right.
Because you raping ass Scientologists.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to these weirdos.
No, you
Let's
spit
go
on
talk to these weirdos.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to these weirdos. Let's go talk to these
You
weirdos.
know that, right?
Let's talk
You
to these.
spit on me, right?
Get out of my face.
You spit.
If you're just joining us, I probably should give a trigger warning. I mean, this is some pretty fucking intense shit, man. This guy's obviously not afraid of him, but and thank God he didn't take a swing at Franck, which is what he's begging for, so he can get him arrested. But this is an intense video. Trigger warning if you're just joining us. And also somebody asked earlier, these are very recent confrontations. This was shortly after Danny Masterson was convicted on September 7th. And this guy did this video and the previous one that you saw. This was shortly after Danny's conviction. So emotions are flaring, right?
Get out of my face. You see this? Get out of my face.
You spit on
Get
me,
out of my
right?
face. Get out of my face.
You spit on me,
Get out of
right?
my. You spit on me, right?
Yeah, you
spit on
did.
Me. You spit
You
on me,
did.
right? You spit
You
on me,
did.
right?
You
Get
did.
out of my face. Why are you in my face? Get
Get
out of my
alive.
face.
Get it off.
No, you get a life. You're a fucking security guard for Scientology.
Get it off.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Get it off.
Let me tell you something. We're reading
Get it off.
18:8. Stop. I'm beginning.
Okay, perhaps, what do you guys think? Perhaps that's not the most effective way, right? Now, here's old school Franck, and you'll notice the repeater tech being used, and also they have dug up information, like I mentioned previously, on the protesters so they know the quote-unquote buttons to press on them when they repeat information that Franck actually shouldn't know about. I have it on 2x speed. Let me throw it over here. Okay, this is the same guy that you saw 15 years ago, and you can see, or 14 years ago, and you can see how much he's aged, and the glaze got more intense, but he's back. He's still doing the same tactics that all Scientologists are trained in, and you can definitely expect this at the protest.
You're taking the course? No?
This is the old bag.
Yeah, but
it's old school.
It's policy. I'm an old fart.
Okay,
I mean,
it's old school, baby. Let me ask you this.
uh-oh, here we go.
Before
Here we go.
David, scroll the text.
Now, are you asking me this, or did someone else that tell you to ask me this?
Why are you on disability?
Why am I? Why? That's none of your business. That's private
Why are you
medical
on
information.
disability?
That's private medical information. That's none of your business. You should know better than ask that.
Why are you on disability?
Why are you asking that question?
But why are you on disability?
Why are you asking? Oh, here we go
what's
again.
wrong?
Here we go. Repetitive questioning. I told you, Frank, I told you it's not your business.
There's nothing wrong that I can see with you.
Ooh, this
Huh?
Is there?
How do you know?
This
Is
falls
there?
under.
How do you know?
What's wrong with you?
Well, I'm an SP, I
So the
think.
PR
Well,
side
no,
of this
no.
is dead agency.
Yeah, what?
Don't you consider SPs
I just want to know, like,
This consists
what
of
is
different
your
totally false
disability?
statements, documents.
What is your disability?
David,
And I
What
told
is
you
it?
that's not your concern.
I understand. I just
But you know
wanna
what? You know what?
If
I
you
got.
come here.
I have a.
If
I have
you
a great
come
idea.
here and there's nothing wrong with you, I don't understand, like, why you would be on
Frank,
disability.
why is
Why
it-
are you on disability?
Why does it concern you?
Why are you on disability?
Why does it concern you?
Why are you on disability?
Here we go. Frank, don't play this game with me. It doesn't
I mean,
work.
It's just a simple
It
question.
doesn't work with me. And I
It's
told
a
you
yes
it's
or
none
no
of your
answer.
business. That's your
See,
answer.
the guy who he's dealing with is a regular protester, knows all the shenanigans, probably wasn't totally shocked that they have his medical information that they shouldn't know about, etc. And he's handling it in a much better way, I'd say.
Answer.
It is a yes or no answer.
I just told you your answer. It's none of your business. But
There's nothing wrong with you.
hey, you know what? If
You seem to do some exercise.
call Tommy
Maybe
Gate.
2 days ago,
Hey,
or 3 days ago.
but why
You
did
were
I?
exercising on the street. I mean,
Okay, but is that a crime?
what is like wrong with that?
Is walking by up and down a sidewalk a crime?
I didn't say it was a crime.
What were you making a big deal out of it for?
I'm just asking you a question.
And I answered it. Asked and answered.
You did not answer it.
I did. I didn't answer it.
That's it.
I didn't answer it to your satisfaction, but I answered it.
You did.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, so why are you on disability?
He's not.
Are you sure?
Keeps repeating the question, and as the night goes on, it gets even more intense.
Back on the
Is this your
sidewalk.
property?
You need to go back on the sidewalk.
I think you need to call the cops.
You need to go back on the
You need to
sidewalk.
call cops.
You need to go back on the
Call the
sidewalk.
cops, Frank.
You need to go
Not
back
going
on the
anywhere.
sidewalk.
Not going anywhere.
You need to go back on the sidewalk.
Call the cops.
You need to go back on the sidewalk.
Call the cops.
You need to go back on the sidewalk.
I'm not, Frank. I'm not trespassing.
You need to go back on the sidewalk.
I know, I heard what you said, Frank.
Go back
Your
on the
TR3 is
sidewalk.
fine.
That's
I
great.
acknowledge what you've said.
Go back on the sidewalk.
I duplicate you utterly.
Go back on the
I'm
sidewalk.
not going back on the sidewalk.
Go back on the sidewalk.
I'm not, Frank. Call the cops.
Go back on the
Call
sidewalk.
the cops.
Go back on the sidewalk.
Call.
You guys get the gist of this. Let's just finish it off here.
Want the cops to clarify something for us.
You guys need to move.
I heard you.
You
Well,
need to move.
I can't trust you,
You
man.
need to move.
Scientologists lie all the
You
time.
need to move.
So I don't think so.
You need to
I
move.
don't think so.
You need to move.
Get the cops here.
Straight out of a horror show. God damn it, man. It's weird looking at this shit. Okay, now let's go to Lara FM. Now, she just did a protest at the infamous Big Blue. That's on a street named L. Ron Hubbard Way. That's where they had the advanced organization that I broke down at. They have ASHO, Day and Night Foundation. They have a whole bunch of blue buildings, hence the name Big Blue. And this is Lara doing a protest a couple of weeks ago. And you can just see, even though she's peaceful, she's having a good time. I like going to this protest to, I guess I would do it differently now. I don't think it was effective. I was too emotional, but it was nice meeting Tori Chrisman. You know, I cried in her fucking arms at one of the protests. It was really good and therapeutic in a certain way to meet people that I haven't seen forever. But I also confronted and ran into people that I did know and tried to talk to them, and my emotions, a surprise to me, did get the best of me. And all it did was just push them back into the cult. But Laura's just, you know, having a good time singing here a couple of weeks ago with some other people protesting. And you can see an incident already happen here.
For hours that I can hear over here. So it's like, I think understand, but we're not over here. So,
what's happening?
You guys have just been really loud for a number of hours.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Okay, but it does matter.
Yeah, it does matter. You
No,
know what matters?
It does matter.
Children's
Okay,
lives
listen.
in Scientology.
Okay, all right, fine.
Elderly lives in Scientology. You're on a live stream right
I want to know what you guys think about this too, because this is really interesting, and this is another good point of watching Laura's video, what she was able to have happen with this interaction. She herself says she thinks that this guy might be not a Scientologist, but the various businesses around Big Blue might be co-opted by Scientology to get out there as a non-Scientologist to do what this guy is doing. But he fucking knocks her phone out of her hand, breaks her equipment, which she totally could call the police, and she didn't, because she's like a peaceful person, man. I mean, but she totally could have taken this guy to town. And even if you're not a Scientologist, they do co-opt people and businesses and stuff around. I'm not saying that that's what this guy is, and she isn't necessarily either, but this is an example of some random fucking dude coming up when they're doing a peaceful protest, having a good time, Laura's, singing some music, and then this is the interaction that happens. What the hell do you guys think is actually going on here?
Good.
So whatever business or whoever you're protecting, we are allowed to be loud for 2 hours. We have a permit to be loud as we want.
Where's the permit?
Go look it up, dude. I don't need to show it to you. Go look it up. Go look it up. Yeah, thank you. How dare you support Scientology in any way? Yes, you are. Yeah, you are.
So the other First Amendment rights.
I can yell as loud as I want forever, dude. Why don't you ask what we're yelling about?
Just we
children being abused.
Don't hit me.
I didn't hit you. Oh, that's such a Scientologist.
That's funny, by the way. That's when I first watched this, I immediately thought this guy was a Scientologist, because I'm going to go back there. She didn't even touch him. And that's exactly what Scientology would say.
Elderly lives in Scientology. You're on a live stream right now.
Good.
So whatever business or whoever you're protecting, we are allowed to be loud for 2 hours. We have a permit to be loud as we want.
Where's the permit?
Go look it up, dude. I don't need to show it to you. Go look it up. Go look it up. Yeah, thank you. How dare you support Scientology in any way? Yes, you are. Yeah, you are.
So the other First Amendment rights.
I can yell as loud as I want forever, dude. Why don't you ask what we're yelling about?
Just we
children being abused.
Don't hit me.
I didn't hit you. Oh, that's such a Scientology thing to say. Dude, this was hired by Scientology. This dude has a business, some business that's hired by Scientology. I don't care. He's on the record, bro. Yeah, I would love to know what your business is. What's your business? What's your
business?
Oh, it's none of my business. What's your restaurant? Would you have a restaurant around here? What's your business that we're so loud?
It's none of your fucking business.
It's not?
No.
It's not?
I'm asking nicely. Everybody else is
I don't care if you're asking nicely. I'm telling you nicely.
Listen.
Oh,
Listen.
Oh.
Listen. I asked nicely.
You touched me. I never
You touched me.
No, I did not. You're about to get arrested, bro. You're about to get arrested.
I'm not doing this.
You're on the live stream. You're about to get arrested. You just ripped my phone out of my head.
Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. I asked you nicely, and you were a fucking bitch. All these other people were nice.
That's a rude word to say on a
It's
live
not
stream
rude. It's
with
true.
150,000 people watching you.
Good.
You live around
Good.
here, huh?
I've
You
lived
don't even have a business around here.
You don't know shit about me.
So tell me your business.
Why should I?
Because you're rude.
I'm rude.
Yeah.
I asked nicely.
You
All
just
these people
chopped my
said
phone
fine.
out of my
I didn't
hand.
do shit.
You need to get your TRs in.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
You're a Scientologist, aren't you?
You're an ex-Scientologist?
Is this why
Are you
you're acting this
OSA?
way?
Are you OSA?
Jesus, this is a trip, right? Who knows if he's Scientology or not? He could just be a person that just doesn't like the noise in the business or whatever. And more power to Lara. But this is kind of how I'd react, man. I kind of led by my emotions and didn't. I mean, the guy fucking knocked the shit out of his hand. He's being a complete asshole. Don't get me wrong, but you can see the emotions firing up. And if this guy, was a Scientologist, these are similar tactics that would be used to fire up the protesters to get them all heated up and emotional.
Fine. Please, please, please.
Hey, you can go. Yeah, you don't have to do anything. I can stand here as long as I want. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. Scientology's going down. This bitch literally broke
I saw.
my phone camera. Like, what fool thinks and even if I hated.
Oh shit! He actually broke.
No, he broke the whole thing. He went like that. Like everybody saw this on the live stream. Yeah. Love you all. Good we have this on the record.
That was crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, you better just keep your mental check under health, bro.
It's still going on. He think he comes back for more here. We're almost done.
No, we're not going to move. That's the point. We're never going to move. We're going to yell loud and clear, buddy.
We're not Scientology.
You shouldn't be spending the 3 hours that we're finally protesting to shut us up, dude.
I'm not telling you to shut
Wake up.
This is what I just wanted to make one point here. Like she asked the guy, you know, why don't you ask what we're protesting about and this and that? Let's just say he wasn't a Scientologist in this guy's defense, because the emotions can run, you know, like Lara, you know, had a hell of an upbringing in Scientology. And she kind of reminds me of Tori. She's got like this lovely spirit or whatever. But I would suggest she is a little emotional, you know, and I understand it because I was too. And maybe the guy wasn't a Scientologist and he's out of his rights. They have the right to protest there, but maybe he doesn't give a fuck about Scientology or what she's even talking about. He may not actually know what TRs are, so he's talking way over her head. And he's just a guy that's upset. So maybe there's just a big misunderstanding. But either way, this is how Scientology would operate. Even if they had Scientology-owned businesses, like Lara suggests, around here that will be co-opted by Scientology and literally paid off to do these kind of antics.
I'm not telling you
Wake
to shut
up. Yeah, you said, can you be quiet?
I'm saying be more effective somewhere else.
We are. What you're doing is being very effective.
Not the problem.
I know you're not, but you supporting it is.
I'm not supporting shit.
Yes, you are. Relax then. Walk home.
You fucking walk.
No, I'm here. I live right there, dork.
Where do you live?
Right there.
Where?
None of your business.
Oh,
None of your business.
You do not live there.
I do.
Why are you
None
there?
of your business. You just said that to me. None of your
Never
business.
seen you here.
I don't care. I don't ever want to see you. Ever.
Good, then go.
Bye. Go home. I'm going to stay right here.
No, come on, bro.
Yeah, you see your broken thing that you broke the phone? Yeah. Not good. You're on the record, buddy. Buddy. No. I'm just grabbing the sign. My beautiful, suppressive, loud voice. Now, that's how you handle some bullshit, guys. Keep it on the record. Totally. Everything's live streamed. I was like, everything's live streamed because these fools try to put out anything they can. They try to get businesses to come after us. They try to get anybody. Like, go fuck yourself. I have no tolerance for that whatsoever.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
That was so
3.
horrible.
Can you be quiet? No, by the way, so Scientology has, what do you call that? Like, weight over businesses around here. Sure. Because, and it doesn't matter if they're not Scientologists or not. It doesn't matter. They will say, hey, if you don't go out and say something, we're going to know that you're not like with us. Either not even with us, but like,
you don't want like a bad neighbor.
We're gonna make you lose a lot of money.
You pay taxes.
You won't have a business around here if you don't show that you cared enough to shut us up. So that was that.
Wow.
And that was him getting really angry.
Smacking the phone out of
Like,
your
who
hand and then
does
saying
that?
that you hit
Even
him.
if I hated psychiatry or something, right? Like, I would never smack a phone out of somebody's hand like, fuck you. He lost it. He literally lost it. And I'm on live, babies. I got a big-ass support system. SPTV, baby.
That's pretty awesome, man. So that's a more peaceful protest. You can see some of the shenanigans that happened there. But what do you guys think of that? I mean, that's a step up compared to the previous one of you're in a cult and fuck you and, you know, you're all rapists and everything. Now, like I said, ironically, the next one we're going to show you is the indie Scientology protest. Now, let's see, let me show you this real quick. So we were going to, this is an opportunity to cover this too, because we did a video about this last month. It's right here. It's called The Battle at Big Blue, Indie Scientologists on the Attack. This is about a week before they were going to actually do the video that we showed you. And they seem to have handled it quite well, and they're very peaceful. And what's so funny about that is they're still indoctrinated into Hubbard's tech. Loosely, what indie Scientologists are is these are people that think it's David Miscavige's fault. The tech changed, and he did change a lot of stuff. He got rid of the St. Hill Special Briefing Course, which is unbelievable. That's a course you should never get rid of. Hubbard's having a heart attack on Target too because David did that. He bullshitted people by re-releasing the book, saying the editor fucked it up. They missed some comments here and some things here. Here's the new books, the way their LRH intended them. So people have reason to believe that if they've been old timers, like the lady that you're going to see here, where Scientology was more fun back in the 60s and 70s and the 80s, and then David comes along, and it did get more Orwellian. It did get more brutal, but they never sussed that the whole thing was a con from the very beginning. And these people, because we talked about the indies quite a bit before in other videos, they can spend a friking lifetime never sussing that. And they're just interesting people, man. So that was the battle at Big Blue. In that video, I'll link in the description if you want to see the backstory to that. But here's the result of it. And ironically, or maybe not, they are quite peaceful. What do you guys think of this one? Just wanted to say something real quick. The main blonde lady that put this together, we covered her in detail, and her backstory is interesting. So like I said, it's in that video. I don't want to sit here and explain for 5 minutes who this person is. So check that out. But the main lady who set this up, you're going to see here at the beginning and throughout.
The Church of Scientology has no business covering up for crimes, covering up felonies. That's a misuse of Scientology. We are here to restore LRH tech, to end injustices, and to improve Sea Org conditions. Scientology has no business covering up for felons like Danny Masterson. I mean, I got declared for...
Real quick, you remember how somebody earlier in the stream said, does Scientology induce psychosis? Yes, since the very beginning, in my opinion, with Dianetics on. It's not even my opinion. Any psychologist, and they can take a look at Scientology's training routines and their auditing and say that that's 100% covert hypnosis, no questions asked. So yes, it drives people psychotic. Yet this person, as you see, rightfully so, is calling out the abuses of Scientology, which should be called out, right? This is hot off the press of Danny Masterson being convicted to life in prison. And they believe that it started with David. Somehow the abuses just happened when David came on the scene. Again, we explained how that cognitive dissonance can be explained away in their head because Scientology did seem to be less brutal, but still, they're going to stay in a strange way of thinking if they don't suss that it was a psychotic machine from the beginning created by fucking Hubbard.
For asking questions, and speaking the truth. And
you were actually in the corporate church.
Yes, I was in the corporate church until 2010.
Okay.
And that's when I found out about the abuse of Sea Org members.
Yeah. What was the actual crime that you were convicted of?
Well, actually, they never gave me anything in writing. So I only assume it was that I was asking questions and I wouldn't shut up. And so I got a call from AOLA about 48 hours before my committee of evidence saying I had to report down, and I said, can I see it in writing? And they said no. Apparently they don't do things in writing anymore. And so, of course, I was in Seattle. I couldn't make it down to LA. They never sent me anything, so I only assume it went through. But
if you weren't officially declared, then you're declared now.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that they actually called me probably means they went through with it. Yeah. But so I just said I wasn't going to disconnect from my friends who were asking questions. It was about David Miscavige beating people. I'm not going to stand by and not speak out against that because that's atrocious.
There you go. It's about David Miscavige beating people. So many people left Int Base, Rinder and such, and that whole crew came out because David Miscavige literally had him in the whole. It was a total Orwellian prison. The musical chairs, and he was beating the shit out of people. So she and a lot of these people leave Scientology because they get booted out, not necessarily because the tech wasn't working or they doubt Hubbard, or like I said, they see the whole con. They're butthurt that they got booted out. They still believe in the tech. So rather than undo the whole trap, it's much easier. The path of least resistance is to just look at Miscavige, still retain the tech, and do a protest like this. Sorry to interject, but I just wanted to say that real quick.
Behavior that is no part of the philosophy of Scientology. So more people should be speaking out, you know, more Scientologists should be speaking out.
Recordings just got better.
Oh, God.
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce.
That's one of the reasons I will never run ads or monetize this channel. So annoying.
Hello, Scientology. We are the crusade to restore Scientology.
All right, here they go, man. There's her up at the front, a few other people. Again, these guys know what they're doing. They're on Scientology's radar, and it's peaceful. They shouldn't be walking down the middle of the street here, which they're going to get busted for. But notice how quickly, too. This is one other thing I wanted to say real quick. Notice how quickly the cops are there, and you're going to see, it just looks so creepy, but they have the LAPD in their pocket, man, or at least members of the LAPD, I should say, because they're always just a phone call away and can appear there and do Scientology's work much more than a regular police officer might pay attention to them. So it's not a big protest, and it looks kind of silly, in my opinion, because they're just protesting, Miscavige. But even this provides some insight on the police, and maybe this is kind of a good way to go about it. There's no emotions. There's no heated emotions. It's just a really peaceful protest.
There's Angel. For the Sea Org workers, yeah. Up, and they started the music again.
All right, folks, let's use communication, not disconnection. Use communication, not disconnection. Use communication, not disconnection.
Too funny. They're also kind of using reverse Scientology tech or repeater tech where anybody has a chant at a protest, but it's just so funny. Use communication, not disconnection. This is referring to the communication, which itself is rigged, like that previous psychiatric nurse said. It's 100% hypnosis. So to make this accurate, they should say, use covert hypnosis, not disconnection.
Use communication, not disconnection. Use communication, not disconnection. Use communication.
And there's LAPD again.
Use communication, not disconnection. Use communication. We are Scientologists, and we're here to communicate. Rest assured, we'll be back. There's the cops. You guys move to the side. Move to the side. In fact, let's go on the sidewalk now. There's no reason to cause trouble. Hello, Scientology. We are the crusade to restore Scientology. We're here to bring it back.
You'll notice the creepy cop just appear out of nowhere here. And also, it's not beyond them to do construction. They've been doing construction for the last few weeks on L. Ron Hubbard Way here. They might actually have set that to coincide with the various protests, either from Lara or from the Indies. It's possible they just need the work done, but they always will create obstructions. It's not out of their playbook to create obstructions to make the protests themselves harder by bringing in construction and all sorts of things that prevent them from getting too close to the buildings, etc.
Message to you that your abusive practices are ruining Scientology.
Yes, sir.
Just for safety reasons, can you stay on the sidewalk? I don't want a car hitting you guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, officer. 1, 2, 3.
So he just told him to stay on the sidewalk. Fair enough. And then he goes over here and he's just going to watch him for a while. Maybe that's standard procedure, but he was there very quickly, and he's just sitting there creeping on these people.
Use communication, not disconnection.
Use communication, not disconnection. Use communication, not disconnection. Use communication, not disconnection. Use communication, not disconnection. Woo! Yeah. Use communication, not disconnection.
Notice the streets are empty. They would have told their parishioners to scurry away as the protesters, i.e. the SPs, are outside.
We are asking Scientologists to restore the technology.
Let's see if they ask these people to go inside.
As founded by L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh no, this is also Bob.
What happened to the briefing course? What happened to the Key to Life course? Where are all the students and PCs? I like the music. There's more of us than there are of you. That's not a good sign for an org.
Okay, so as you can see, there's we'll take it when they pass the couple here, but I'll fast forward a little bit because we're getting towards the end. Okay, so empty. I think that their main chant is use communication, not disconnection, and we'll see what happens as we wrap it up here. The construction and their final chant at the end here. Again, more commercials. Fucking lovely.
You'd be happier as a boy?
I don't know. Would you?
They're very agitated.
Use communication, not disconnection. 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 Harboring criminals. That's not how
She pulled a weird.
Scientology working. We are the crusade to restore Scientology. We'll be back.
To restore Scientology. This is Tony Ortega's video, by the way, link in the description box. And restore it to what was the main comment in the sections. Restore it to what? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's the Stewart slogan, huh? Yeah. What is it? We come back. We come back. There you go.
Okay, so that's that. And we're going to, so there you go. There's 3 different versions of protest. What do you think? Let us know in the comments afterwards. We'll take up some questions as we roll out of here. But I just wanted to highlight specifically to the never ends that are going to get all jazzed to go to this East Grinstead event, which is going to be big. They've had 4 weeks notice, so they're more than prepared. Like I said, they have facial recognition cameras outside, so everybody's going to be tracked and traced. And you can see the emotions that can run high. You can now hopefully be more aware of Scientologists putting their TRs in, whether it's Franck, the moles in the group that are undoubtedly going to be there, or people whispering in people's ear. Now, maybe it'll totally go off without a hitch, you know? What Scientology could do is totally ignore the protest and just carry on. They would be smart if they did that. But if their past playbook is anything to go by, just wanted to give some fucking pointers, man, so you guys aren't on their list into eternity simply because you wanted to go hang out with Alex, man. And I'm going to leave a link in the description box, too, of what he posted regards this event. So he says, if you're interested in taking part in the protest at this year's IAS event, please register here. I'll link in the description box of registration if you want to. But again, I would forewarn you, giving this information out. Alex claimed that his website was hacked into 2,300 times or attempted to be hacked into. So I would just say be very careful if you're going to give this information out, because how do we know if that actually happened? That your information isn't going to be hacked into, and he's not going to, Scientology is not going to have all your names. So if you would like to take part in the IAA protest at St. Hill Manor, East Grinstead, that'll be from the 3rd to the 5th November, 2023. Please use this form to register your attendance. Your data will not be shared externally unless we get hacked, and will only be used to contact you with regards to the IES protest. And then here's the form that you fill out. Email address, that's optional. What's your name? That's optional. He says here you can type Anon if you wish to stay anonymous. I would definitely say don't put your real name in there. What's your Scientology status? Who cares? Which day are you interested in joining? Please confirm how you will be traveling. Why does that matter? Please enter your email address. I'd recommend against that. If you would like to be added to the IAS protest WhatsApp group, please add your phone number here. Again, why are you letting know Scientology in advance on such a wide scale so they can prepare? And he does say this is a peaceful protest. By ticking the box below, I'll promise I'll comply. And I'll leave more links that he left so you can get up to speed on this page and others, how you can how he breaks down some of the rules and the laws and what he has put together here, which is good information. And then we're going to take some questions here before we roll out that I starred. And if you have any questions you'd like to ask before we go out of here too, just throw them in now and we'll cover them. But that's basically what I wanted to cover, man. Just know what the fuck you're getting into. Please leave any comments if you yourself would protest and if you had anything you'd like to add to this. Again, just so people know what they're getting into and their life isn't made miserable because they just wanted to go to an event one day. I want to say one thing too here, which we'll probably take up later, but this isn't the video to do it. If any of you want to moderate, we need a new moderator. That's the person who throws up links and such. Goldie has had a falling out with many SPTV creators. Alex had to eat crow for, pimping her out. And maybe we'll say something about that later because it's caused a bit of a problem. I took her off my channel, so she's not going to be moderating here anymore. Again, I don't want to cover it in this video because I should back up what I'm saying, but I don't want to have her as the moderator. Many other people have gotten rid of her. So if you want to do that and you can be trusted and you can be here fairly regularly, it'd be cool to have 2 or 3 moderators to add. So just hit me up at an email at dbnckramer because I would like to get somebody in here to just handle the few trolls that we have, once in a while. It is good to have a moderator, but we are moderator-less at the time being. So regards the questions here. Due to Leah's mom stating her reason for leaving was finding out that she had to start the bridge all over again, do you think telling other Scientologists would help open up their eyes? Star, I'm not sure I know what you're talking about with Leah's mom, but I mean, they're not going to think that they have to do the bridge over again. An indoctrinated Scientologist is going to see that, OT8's the end, and then they're told in the bubble world that it goes up to 15, OT 15, when those levels don't exist. So you could say something like this to him. You could say, hey, Leah's mom said that once you get up to OT8, and it's true, you have to kind of start back at the survival rundown and other little choruses that David added at the bottom of the bridge. And you do have to kind of work your way up because there's nowhere else to go. Often they also take OT8s and say, well, there's nowhere else you can go except for the Sea Org. You have all this OT power now. The greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics is to now join the Sea Org now that you have all this spiritual technology, which you can really put to work by being part of the team. So sign your billion-year contract. I don't know the answer to that, Star. I don't think a hell of a lot would penetrate any brainwashed Scientologist just by saying something like that, because they wouldn't look at Leah, let alone her mom, as anything other than a suppressive person. So just getting the communication in there to open up the dialogue, I'm not sure something like this would work. And again, I don't know what the hell works, man. I mean, the only thing I can think of is just to be a friend of the person and really care about them and engage in conversation. Maybe get them to look at information if they trust you, but it has to be in a non-threatening way, I feel. You can't just scream Xenu at them, and you can't just tell them what's wrong. And if you can't tell them about the abuses, because I was, for an example, was totally unaware of all that. So not only would I not listen, I would just, again, go more into the bubble world and look at you, the one trying to share this suppressive information with me, as the problem, not Scientology. If you guys have any ideas on how to actually engage with people, have you done it before? Have you ever gotten anybody out of Scientology or an abusive relationship or a cult? I would love to hear more ideas on that if you have any. It's a great question, Star. Thank you. Martha, what's going on? Question. So Indy say Scientology was fun before Miscavige. Did she ask the kids how much fun it was growing up in Scientology? Exactly, man. That's why the indies might be ridiculous, but they're a little bit more than that. They're dangerous because, yeah, they do totally avoid the abuses that happen, pre-Miscavige. What about all the kids raised in the Sea Org? They have to compartmentalize their minds and blindside them to the L. Ron Hubbard, the abuses you just mentioned, and everything else in order to just make it about Miscavige. And that woman that you saw, that blonde lady, again, we did a video on her where you can learn more. She just seemed like she got booted out, and if you just get booted out and butt hurt, you're not necessarily going to go down the rabbit hole to take the mind control aspect apart. The path of least resistance would to ignore that because maybe you got up to some of that in Scientology. You certainly justified it. So the path of least resistance and why people can become indie Scientologists, even for a lifetime, is, I would say, to prevent themselves from looking at their own actions and to just blame it on Miscavige. Path of least resistance. Clearwater, what's going down, ma'am? Isn't becoming an independent Scientologist the first step in peeling the onion? I think in a few months or years, they will have aha moments. Absolutely. They do have aha moments, and some of them literally never figure it out for a lifetime. An example of that would be Trey Lotz, Ray Robles, who we've covered. These are people, and God bless him, man. Ray Robles is a total narcissist. He tried to take L. Ron Hubbard's scam and make his own scam. He offers indie Scientologists up to not OT8, but he created OT9. So there's narcissists and psychopaths that just are in Scientology. They get booted out or they have a problem with Hubbard or whatever. They want the power and they form the indie movement, which is what Ray Robles started. And then they also have indie Scientologists that is the first part of peeling the onion. And often they do go the indie route. And a lot of them figure it out much either quickly or later on. But yeah, that's a great point. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to back up Goldie when you know the story, man. Wow, Doug, thought you would have backed up Goldie. I'm disappointed with your decision, but it's your channel. Well, Martha, I'll say more on that because there's a reason for that. Not least the email that she sent out to us creators, basically deflecting and taking zero responsibility. But since I brought that up, I don't want to fucking create drama, man. It was her doing, and she would have had an out if she would have been honest and open. But I've had problems with her in the past, man. She's tried to block people. We don't block anybody over here unless they're an absolute troll and they're trying to divert. I've had a few problems with Goldie in the past that I've kept my mouth shut about. But with the latest stuff, not so much what she's done, but the way she handled it in the email and has been trying to manipulate the community to feel sorry for her rather than take responsibility, I probably do have to say something about that now. I'm sorry you're disappointed, but let me give you the information first and then make up your mind. Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you for joining us. We're going to do a live Q&A tomorrow. You guys seem to like that. We hang out at the end of the week at Sunday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We can take that up and any other questions that you have. That'll be tomorrow. And in the meantime, I'll leave you with this outro. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of your